How to be untouchable. Reimagined. What if no one could ever disturb your peace again? No insult, rejection, or manipulation. Imagine walking through life with unshakable emotional control, completely untouchable by chaos. The greatest power isn't shouting louder, it's mastering silence, self-worth, and emotional clarity. 3. How to be untouchable. No one can bother you again. Billy Graham. YouTube, most people live like puppets pulled by the strings of other people's words, actions, and opinions. A single comment can ruin their mood. A small rejection can break their confidence. A bit of criticism can send them into self-doubt. Why? Because they give others too much power. They allow the outside world to dictate their inner world. The truth is, no one can touch you emotionally unless you let them. No one can disturb your peace unless you give them access. You suffer not because of what people say or do, but because of how you react. This is where your true control begins. To it, the first step to becoming untouchable is to understand that your emotions are yours alone. No one else should have control over them. The mindset shift that changes everything the moment you stop seeking validation from others. The moment you stop letting external events dictate your mood. That is the moment you become free. Most people live in a reactive state. They are like leaves in the wind. Wherever the wind blows they go, they react to everything around them. Someone insults them, they feel hurt. Someone disagrees with them, they feel defensive. This is where your true control begins. Someone ignores them, they feel unimportant. But those who are untouchable operate differently. They don't react, they respond. They don't absorb negativity, they observe it. They don't get offended. They remain unmoved, and because of this, they hold all the power. Why people try to pull you down? People will always try to test you. Some will criticize you. Some will disrespect you. Some will try to make you feel small, not because there is something wrong with you, but because of their own insecurities. Understand this: people can only hurt you from a position. This is where your true control begins. Of weakness, strong, confident, self-assured individuals do not waste their energy trying to bring others down. Only those who feel powerless seek to control others. And the moment you realize this, their words lose all meaning. Their actions lose all power over you, because you finally see the truth. They are not strong. They are not superior. They are not in control. They are desperate for a reaction. And when you refuse to give them what they want, when you remain calm when you do not react, you win every time the power of emotional detachment. This is where your true control begins. Of emotional detachment is not about being cold or heartless. It's about knowing what deserves your energy and what doesn't. It's about recognizing that most things simply do not matter. Imagine a king sitting on his throne. Do you think he reacts every time someone speaks against him? No, because he understands his power. He understands that his energy is too valuable to waste on meaningless noise. You must develop the same mindset. Stop giving your emotions away so easily. Not everything deserves your response. Not everyone. This is where your true control begins. Deserves access to your thoughts. Guard your mind like a fortress. When you master this, you will walk through life untouchable, unshaken by the world around you. Your first step towards becoming untouchable. From this moment forward, promise yourself one thing: you will no longer allow yourself to be controlled by external forces. Next time someone insults you, stay calm. Next time Someone disrespects you. Smile and walk away. Next time someone tries to pull you down, remind yourself it's not about you, it's about them. The stronger you become. This is where your true control begins. Mentally, the weaker their influence over you, this is the foundation of becoming untouchable. And in the next section, you will discover exactly why people try to control you and how to break free from their grip forever. Stay with me. Your transformation has just begun. Have you ever noticed how some people always have something negative to say? How they try to make you feel small, weak, or unworthy? Have you ever wondered why they do this? It's not because you're wrong. It's not because you're not good enough. It's because they want control. Human. This is where your true control begins. Psychology is simple people who lack control over themselves seek to control others. When someone insults you, belittles you, or tries to manipulate you, they are not showing strength. They are revealing their weakness. They are exposing their own insecurities. A confident person doesn't need to put others down. A strong person doesn't need to control anyone. Only those who feel powerless inside crave dominance over others. They want to see you react. They want to see you doubt yourself. They want to feel like they have influence. This is where your true control begins, over your emotions. But here's the truth. They only succeed if you let them. The psychology of manipulation. Most people don't attack you out of hatred. They attack you because they want something from you. A reaction, validation, or submission. A critic wants to feel smarter than you. A bully wants to feel stronger than you. A manipulator wants to feel in control of you. It has nothing to do with you. It's about them, their fears, their insecurities, their desperate need for significance. Once you understand this, their words lose all weight. You know. This is where your true control begins. Longer take insults personally. You no longer feel the need to argue, explain, or prove yourself because you see the game for what it is. A weak attempt to control you. How to break free from their influence. Stop feeding them your energy. The only way to win is not to play their game when you refuse to react. They lose all power over you. When you stay calm in the face of provocation, you become untouchable. They speak, but you remain unmoved. They try to offend, but you do not respond. And they seek control, but you give them nothing. And in that moment, this is where your true control begins. Become truly free. Imagine a life where nothing disturbs your peace. No insult shakes your confidence. No rejection weakens your spirit. No opinion makes you question yourself. This is emotional independence, the ability to control your inner world, no matter what happens outside of you. Most people are emotionally dependent. They let others dictate how they feel. A compliment makes them happy. A criticism makes them insecure. They are prisoners of external validation. But here's the truth. If someone else can control how you feel, this is where your true control begins. They own you. True power comes when you detach your emotions from external forces. You stop being a puppet to people's opinions. You stop reacting to negativity. You stop needing approval. You take back control. Why emotional dependency makes you weak? If your happiness depends on people treating you well, what happens when they don't? If your confidence depends on others, recognizing your worth, what happens when they ignore you? If your inner peace depends on the world being kind, what happens when it's cruel? The world. This is where your true control begins. Will not always be fair. People will not always be kind. And if your emotions are tied to the outside world, you will always be at the mercy of things you cannot control. Emotionally, weak people suffer because they expect respect, they expect kindness, they expect fairness, and when they don't get it, they break. But those who are emotionally independent expect nothing. And because of that, nothing can hurt them. How to build emotional dependence. Stop seeking validation. If you know your worth, you don't need others to confirm it. Detach. This is where your true control begins. From opinions, people's words reflect them. Not you control your reactions. The less you react, the more power you hold. Accept reality. The world owes you nothing. And that's a good thing when you no longer depend on others to feel strong, confident, or worthy. You become untouchable. No one can shake what they do not control. And from that moment on, your emotions belong to you alone. Why do so many people feel trapped? Why do they hesitate to speak their minds, chase their dreams, or stand up for themselves? It's because they are addicted to. This is where your true control begins. Approval. They crave acceptance. They fear rejection. They shape their lives around what others think, and in doing so, they hand over their power. But here's the hard truth. Seeking approval makes you weak. It keeps you dependent. It keeps you controlled. And worst of all, it makes you betray yourself just to fit in. Why approval is a trap. The human brain is wired for social survival in ancient times. Rejection from the tribe meant death. This is why people fear disapproval. It triggers a deep primal instinct. But today, this is where your true control begins. Irrational. You don't need anyone's approval to survive. You don't need permission to be yourself. And yet most people still act like they do. They silence their opinions to avoid conflict. They dress, speak, and act to fit others' expectations. They hesitate to take risks because they fear judgment, and in the end, they live a life that isn't even theirs. How to break free from the need for approval. Accept that not everyone will like you, and that's okay. Trying to please everyone is a losing game. Stop apologizing for who you are. You don't. This is where your true control begins. Owe anyone an explanation for being yourself. Redefine rejection. It's not a sign of failure. It's proof that you're standing for something real. Ask yourself, if no one's opinion mattered, what would I do? Then do exactly that. The moment you stop seeking approval, you become unstoppable. You no longer hesitate. You no longer hold back. You no longer let the world tell you who you should be. And when you reach that point, no one can control you ever again. Why do people try to get a reaction out of you? Why do they push your buttons, insult you, or try to? This is where your true control begins. Make you feel small. It's because your reaction is their reward. The moment you respond with anger, frustration, or insecurity, they win. They gain control over your emotions. They prove that they have power over you. But when you refuse to react, you take that power back. Why reacting makes you weak. Most people live on autopilot. The moment they are insulted, they react with anger. The moment they are ignored, they feel hurt. The moment they are criticized, they feel the need to defend themselves. But here's the truth. Reaction is weakness. Control is. This is where your true control begins. Strength. When you react, you are being controlled. You are letting someone else dictate your mood, your energy, and your peace. You are letting them decide how you feel, and that is the ultimate form of slavery. How to master the art of not reacting. Pause before responding when someone provokes you. Take a deep breath. Give yourself space to think. See the game for what it is. They want a reaction. If you give it to them, you feed their power. Detach emotionally. Their words do not define you. Their opinions do not shape your reality. Choose silence over. This is where your true control begins. Conflict. Sometimes the strongest response is no response at all. The power of silence. Nothing frustrates a manipulator more than silence. Nothing disarms an aggressor more than indifference. When you stop reacting, you stop giving away your energy. You stop being a puppet in someone else, is gain. They insult you. You remain calm. They criticize you. You smile. They try to control you. You walk away. And in that moment, you win, because nothing is more powerful than a person who cannot be shaken. The most powerful voice in your life is not the one coming. This is where your true control begins. From others, it's the one inside your own head. It shapes how you see yourself. It decides whether you rise or fall. And yet most people let this voice work against them. They repeat the insults they've heard. They replay the doubts that others have planted. They let their fears speak louder than their potential. But here's the truth. If you don't control your inner dialogue, someone else will. Why your thoughts control your reality. Your mind believes what you tell it. If you constantly think, I'm not good enough, I'll never succeed. Or people, this is where your true control begins. Don't respect me. Your brain accepts those thoughts as facts. And once that belief takes root, it controls everything, your confidence, your actions, and your entire life. But the opposite is also true. When you start feeding your mind with strength, confidence, and self-respect, everything changes. You no longer seek approval. You no longer doubt yourself. You no longer allow negativity to take hold. How to reprogram your mind. Catch negative thoughts instantly. The moment a self-doubt or insecurity enters your mind, stop it. Refuse to let it grow. This is where your true control begins. Replace it with power. Instead of thinking, I can't handle this, say I am in control, instead of what? If they don't like me, say their opinion is irrelevant to my self-worth. Repeat strength daily, just like training a muscle. Your mind needs repetition. Speak confidence, power, and resilience into yourself every day. Detach from the voice of fear. Not every thought deserves your attention. If a thought weakens you, discard it like trash, becoming untouchable from the inside out. External attacks mean nothing when your inner world is. This is where your true control begins. Unshakable. No insult can break you if you don't accept it. No rejection can wound you if you don't take it personally. No challenge can defeat you if your mind is trained for strength. Control your inner dialogue, and you control your destiny. And when you master your mind, no one, absolutely no one, can touch you. Some battles are not worth fighting. Some people are not worth your energy. Some situations do not deserve your attention. But most people don't realize this. They argue, they defend, they explain, wasting time on things that do not. This is where your true control begins. Matter. But here's the truth. Walking away is not weakness. It is power. When you walk away, you send a message. I do not need to prove myself to anyone. You show that you are in control, that you refuse to be dragged into pointless conflicts, and that your energy is too valuable to be wasted. Why walking away makes stronger. Most people stay in toxic situations because of ego. They want to win the argument. They want to prove their worth. They want to be understood. But what they don't realize is that true strength is in indifference. The person. This is where your true control begins. Who argues all day is controlled by their emotions. The person who gets offended easily is controlled by others' opinions. The person who always needs the last word is controlled by their ego. but the one who walks away, that person is untouchable. How to master the art of walking away. Recognize when energy is being wasted. Not every battle is worth fighting. Ask yourself, will this matter in a week, in a year? If not, let it go. Detach from the need to be right. You don't need to win arguments. You don't need to prove your intelligence. This is where your true control begins. Self-worth is not up for debate. Silence is your weapon. Nothing confuses an instigator more than a lack of response. When you walk away, you take their power value. Your peace over their drama. Protect your energy. Give your time only to things that elevate you. Becoming untouchable through disengagement. Some people will try to pull you into their chaos. Some will try to trap you in endless debates. Some will try to drain your energy just to feel powerful. But when you walk away, calm, composed, and completely uninterested, you win every. This is where your true control begins. Time, because nothing is more powerful than a person who refuses is to be controlled. Most people are easy to read. They react the same way every time, get angry, and they fight back. Ignore them, and they chase. Push them, and they break. This makes them easy to control. But when you become unpredictable, you become untouchable. No one can manipulate you. No one can anticipate your next move. No one can control what they cannot understand. Why predictability makes you weak. Weak people are controlled because they are too easy to figure out. This is where your true control begins. If you always defend yourself, people will keep attacking. If you always explain yourself, people will keep questioning you. If you always react with emotion, people will keep provoking you. But unpredictability, that is strength. How to use unpredictability to your advantage? Don't react. How they expect when someone insults you instead of getting angry. Smile instead of defending yourself. Stay silent. Confuse them. Be calm when they expect rage. People push your buttons because they want to see you lose control. When you remain calm, you take. This is where your true control begins. Away their power. Change your patterns. If you always explain yourself, stop. If you always chase people, walk away. If you always argue, remain silent. Make them wonder. Keep your emotions private. Never let people know what truly gets to you. The less they know, the less control they have. Becoming an unshakable mystery. People fear what they cannot predict. They don't know how to manipulate someone who refuses to play the game. They don't know how to control someone who reacts on their own terms. And that is where true power lies, when no one can. This is where your true control begins. Anticipate your response. No one can break you. And when no one can break you, you are truly free. Why do people suffer? Why do they feel broken when someone rejects them, insults them, or leaves them behind? It's because they are attached to people, to opinions, to outcomes, and attachment breeds weakness. But the moment you master detachment, you become unstoppable. You stop needing validation. You stop fearing loss. You stop being controlled by things that do not serve you. Why attachment makes you weak? Most people live in fear because they are too. This is where your true control begins. Attached, they fear losing approval, so they stay silent. They fear losing relationships, so they tolerate disrespect. They fear failure, so they never take risks. But here's the truth. Attachment is an illusion. Nothing is truly permanent. People change opinions, shift circumstances, evolve. And the more you cling to things outside your control, the more power you give away. How to develop true detachment. Let go of expectations, accept nothing, and you'll never be disappointed. Accept reality as it is. Stop resisting. Stop wishing things were. This is where your true control begins. Different, take life as it comes. Control only what is yours. Your mind, your actions, your energy. These are the only things within your power. See people for who they are not. Who you want them to be, let go of. Illusions, the freedom of letting go. When you stop attaching your happiness to people, they can no longer hurt you. When you stop attaching your confidence to approval, you become immune to rejection. When you stop attaching your success to one outcome, you open the door to infinite possibilities. Detachment is not. This is where your true control begins. Indifference. It is power. It is seeing life clearly, free from illusion. And when you master it, nothing and no one can shake you. Most people depend too much on the outside world. They need others to make them feel worthy. They need society's approval to feel successful. They need relationships to feel complete. But this dependence makes them vulnerable. True strength comes from self-sufficiency, the ability to stand on your own, emotionally, mentally, and financially. When you rely on nothing and no one to complete you, you become. This is where your true control begins. Unbreakable. Why dependence makes you weak. The more you rely on external sources for your happiness, confidence, or stability, the more fragile you become if you need someone's love to feel whole. What happens when they leave? If you need validation to feel confident? What happens when no one gives it? If you need approval to feel valuable? What happens when people reject you? Dependency creates fear. Fear of loss, fear of rejection, fear of being alone. And where there is fear, there is control. Those who need nothing from others cannot be. This is where your true control begins. Controlled how to become truly self-sufficient, develop emotional independence. Stop seeking happiness outside of yourself. Find it within. Build financial strength. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it does buy freedom. The less you rely on others, the more control you have over your life. Sharpen your skills. The more capable you are, the less you need help from the world. Be your own source of validation. Know your worth, even when no one acknowledges it. The unstoppable mindset. Self-sufficient people do not beg for attention, they do. This is where your true control begins. Not fear being alone. They do not need external support to move forward. They choose relationships out of want, not need. They chase dreams with fearlessness, not hesitation. And when you reach this level of strength, no one can manipulate you. No one can break you, and no one can stop you. Emotions are powerful. They can drive you to success, or they can destroy you. Most people let their emotions control them. They get angry and say things they regret. They feel fear and hold themselves back. They get hurt and spiral into self-doubt. But the moment. This is where your true control begins. You learn to control your emotions. You become unstoppable. No one can provoke you. No one can break you. No one can manipulate you through fear, guilt, or anger. You take full control of your mind, your actions, and your life. Why losing control makes you weak? When someone angers you and you lash out. They win when someone insults you and you feel hurt. They win when someone ignores you and you crave their attention. They win every time you react emotionally. You give someone else power over you. They press a button and you respond exactly. This is where your true control begins. How they want that is not strength that is being controlled. How to master your emotions. Pause before reacting, before you respond. Take a deep breath. Give yourself time to think. Detach from triggers. Recognize when someone is trying to provoke you. Don't fall for it. Train yourself to remain calm. No matter what happens, act like It doesn't affect you over time. It won't use logic over emotion. Feelings, change truth, does not make decisions based on reason, not temporary emotions becoming emotionally untouchable. Imagine a version of, this is where your true control begins. Yourself, that never gets rattled. Insults don't faze. You disrespect doesn't bother you. Manipulation doesn't work on you. You stay calm, controlled, and focused always in command of your emotions. This is the ultimate power. The person who controls their emotions controls their destiny. And once you reach this level, no one will ever be able to shake you again. Most people talk too much. They overshare their plans, explain themselves unnecessarily, and reveal their weaknesses without realizing it. They believe that talking more makes them. This is where your true control begins. Appear confident, but in reality, the more you speak, the more power you give away. The strongest people in the world understand one thing: silence is power. When you say less, you control the conversation. When you say less, people respect your presence. When you say less, you keep your power. Why talking too much makes you weak? Words can be used against you. The more people know about you, the easier you are to manipulate when you share your struggles. People know where to attack. When you explain yourself too much, you seem. This is where your true control begins. Insecure, when you talk about your plans, others can sabotage them. Mishistory is strength. The less people know about you, the more they wonder. The more they wonder, the more they respect you. How to master the art of saying less? Speak only when necessary. Do not waste words. Make every sentence count. Let others reveal themselves first. The less you speak, the more they talk. Use that to your advantage. Never explain yourself unless required. You don't owe explanations for your choices. Confidence is silent use. Silence as a weapon when someone... This is where your true control begins. Expects a reaction. Give them none when someone presses you for an answer. Take your time. Silence creates tension. Tension creates respect. Commanding respect through silence. Have you ever noticed how the most powerful people in the room are often the quietest? That's because silence demands attention. It makes people curious. It makes people listen. It makes people respect you. When you talk less, you become predictable. When you talk less, you maintain control. When you talk less, you keep your power where it belongs with you. Most people are. This is where your true control begins. Controlled by their emotions because they care too much about what others think, about how others treat them, about things that don't truly matter. They waste energy trying to impress, trying to win approval, trying to prove something, but the moment you master indifference, you become untouchable. No insult can offend you. No rejection can break you. No loss can shake you, because nothing outside of you has the power to control you. Why caring too much makes you weak? Caring too much about the wrong things puts your happiness in someone else's. This is where your true control begins. Hands. If you care too much about opinions, you become a slave to validation. If you care too much about rejection, you fear taking risks. If you care too much about people's actions, they can manipulate you. But when you stop caring about things beyond your control, you take your power back. You've moved through life with unshakable confidence because nothing external defines your worth. How to master indifference? Detach from opinion. What others think of you is their business, not yours. Stop seeking validation. No one's approval is more important than. This is where your true control begins. Your own. Accept what you cannot control. People will say things, situations will change. Let it happen without attachment. Focus only on what matters, your growth, your peace, your goals. Everything else is background noise, freedom through indifference. When you stop reacting to negativity, it disappears. When you stop caring about petty things, they lose power over you. When you stop seeking approval, people respect you more. Indifference is not weakness. It is the ultimate strength. It is the ability to walk through fire without being burned. This is where your true control begins. Without being shaken, without losing yourself. And when you master it, no one can ever control you again. Most people fear being alone. They stay in toxic friendships. They tolerate disrespect. They surround themselves with the wrong people just to avoid loneliness. But in doing so, they weaken themselves. The truth is, being alone is not a weakness. It is a weapon. The strongest people in the world are those who do not fear solitude. They use it to build themselves, to sharpen their minds, to gain independence. And because they do, this is where your true control begins. Not need anyone. No one can control them. Why most people can't walk alone? People cling to others because they fear their own thoughts. They fear facing themselves. They fear the silence. But what they don't realize is that solitude is where strength is built. When you walk alone, you stop seeking approval. When you walk alone, you develop unshakable self-respect. When you walk alone, you build a mind that is immune to manipulation. Weak people need a crowd to feel secure. Strong people stand alone and remain unshaken. How to embrace walking alone? This is where your true control begins. Comfortable with solitude. Learn to enjoy your own company. Silence is not emptiness, it is power. Detach from needing people. Want them, appreciate them, but never need them. Use solitude to sharpen your mind. Read, reflect, grow. Make time alone, a time of self-mastery. Walk your own path. Most people follow the crowd out of fear. The strongest ones create their own way. Unshakable strength through solitude. When you master walking alone, you become fearless. You are not desperate for attention. You are not afraid of losing people. You are not. This is where your true control begins. Controlled by loneliness, because you have built yourself to a level where you are complete on your own. And when you reach that level, you are untouchable. Most people go through life reacting to people, reacting to problems, reacting to negativity. They are like leaves in the wind, easily moved, easily controlled. But those who rise above, those who master their minds, become untouchable. This is not about arrogance. This is not about being emotionless. This is about power. The power to live on your terms, unaffected, unshaken. Unstoppable. This is where your true control begins. What it means to be untouchable. An untouchable person does not beg for approval. An untouchable person does not fear rejection. An untouchable person does not let emotions dictate their actions. They walk through life with complete control. Insult do not faze them. Manipulation does not work on them. Fear does not hold them back. They have mastered emotional control. They respond, never react. Detachment, they let go of what they cannot control. Silence, they do not waste words and they do not explain themselves. Self-sufficiency, they rely on no one, but reaction is the difference between weakness and wisdom. Themselves, walking alone, they do not fear solitude. They embrace it, the ultimate reward, total freedom. The moment you master to yourself, you become free, free from opinions, free from fear, free from control. No one can manipulate you. No one can break you. No one can make you feel inferior because you have built a mind that is immune to weakness. This is what it means to be truly untouchable. Not invincible, not perfect, but completely in control of yourself, your actions, and your destiny. And when you reach this level, the world no longer. This is where your true control begins. Dictates who you are. You do